White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Beautiful sunshine on getaway day. Sox trying to win the series against the Baltimore Orioles out of the American League East on what is a free T-shirt Thursday. You can get yours if you run by the stadium very quickly. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and the Sox have seen Kevin Smith in the lineup on Monday. Got 2 days off, but Monday was certainly a milestone for him.
He had his first major league home run, and it wasn't a cheapie. He took it to right center field, and Kevin was a very happy man. He had a couple of hits that night, but it pales by comparison to this one. He drove in a total of 3 a couple of nights ago and doesn't get a really great greeting. So he decides that he's going to make his own greeting. He's going to start smacking people, pulling people, doing whatever he can, and finally Jose Abreu decides to acknowledge it. Big smile on his face. Everybody very happy for Kevin. He's getting an opportunity and making the most of it.
I like Leury Garcia high-fiving other people during that process. Instead, Sox did something great in Trey Mancini's final at-bat last night. They got him out. He has been terrific in this series.
Trey Mancini, who played ball at Notre Dame, came into this series hitting White Sox pitching pretty well from the last time we saw him. And this is no exception. 11 for 19 this year with a couple of home runs, 8 driven in. He uses the whole field. He's got some pretty decent speed. But we've seen him with very good balance. He seems to have a pretty good idea about how to hit the ball, how to take pitches away to the opposite field, when to pull the ball, and the youngster looks like he's got a chance.
What do you have on the mound for us today?
We've got a man who threw very well last time out in David Holmberg. His curveball was outstanding against the Indians, and he picked up his first win of the year. So that's what he did on Saturday, and it's pretty good numbers. As far as Chris Tillman, when we saw him in Baltimore, he was very good. Unfortunately, he's certainly pitching in hard times. 1-4, 8-point ERA over the last 7 starts. The velocity is way down. When he's right, he's got a good curveball, but if the velocity is down, he's not going to be able to get a whole lot of spin on the breaking ball, and that's the advantage of our boys. It's a warm day today. It's going to be flying out of the ballpark.
We'll see how it shakes out. Day baseball on getaway day here at Guaranteed Rate Field. Fun with Southpaw for the kids. That's my hat. Sox and Orioles coming up next.
CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
They are as young as One Direction. They are dressed like the Ventures, and they play the Ramones. That's your pregame entertainment at Guaranteed Rate Field outside the ballpark. And a free t-shirt Thursday getting celebrated as well. Sox and Orioles day baseball from the south side of Chicago, and David Holmberg has led the Sox onto the field. He makes start number 3 for the White Sox. Here's the Orioles starting lineup. Joey Rickard leads off once again. Then Jones, who's 5 out of 13 in the series. Sox have kept Manny Machado pretty quiet. Mancini, not the same case. Ruben Tejada in the 8th spot gets his first start of the series. Caleb Joseph has the plate after a late night game.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind David Holmberg. It's Melky, Willie, and Abasail in the outfield with Frazier, Anderson, Sanchez, and Abreu in the infield. Kevin Smith, fresh off his first career home run behind the plate. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is David Holmberg, who had a good curveball last time out against the Indians. Looking for more of the same here today. The ERA at 2.74. He's been very good starting out of the bullpen and now in the rotation. And the umpires for the game this afternoon. Ramon DeJesus has the plate. The crew chief, Paul Emmel, at first. Ryan O'Nora at second, and Quinn Wolcott is at third. So a beautiful day for baseball. Temperature in the low 90s. The wind very much a factor, and it's blowing straight out to right center field. And look at that, Grandpa, there on television. So breaking into show business, as we all are trying to do, and it's time for me to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti.
Steve, thank you. Holmberg against the Orioles today. This is the 4th start for David Holmberg. He had a couple on the road, the one at home against Boston, and he will face Joey Rickard to start the game. There's strike number 1 at 110, and we are off and running on getaway day in Chicago. Beautiful day. It is a hot one, 86 degrees with the sun out.
Nice to be able to get a straight change over early. There's a whole lot of these Orioles that haven't seen David Holmberg, so the advantage to him the first time through. Although, as we told you, on a hot day, on a humid day, the ballpark will be very lively.
Ball and 2 strikes on Joey Rickard, who is the only player to repeat as a leadoff batter for the Orioles in this series. He led off in game 2 and now here in game 4. Baltimore is a right-hand heavy team. They have 3 lefties on the bench. Kim, Smith, and Washington. J.J. Hardy is the only right-hander available for Buck Showalter. In the air to right field, and Avi Garcia for round number 1 of today's ball game.
That was a breaking ball David threw a little too hard, and because of that, it didn't break all that well. But because it was a curveball, Rickard didn't get much into the swing.
So here's Adam Jones, who was 2 for 5 yesterday with an RBI single in the 6th and a run scored. The Orioles were down in that game 5-1 after 2 innings. Sox scored 2 in the 1st and 3 in the 2nd. Baltimore with 3 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 2 more in the 6th. Sox got the final run of the game in the 9th inning on Allen Hansen's first career home run.
That was exciting because it happens to be the first pinch hit home run of the year for our Sox. And Allen was a very happy man as he rounded the bases, getting his opportunity to pinch hit and taking it out of the park.
A big old smile on his face, and Sierra Santos will report on that. And Hansen's night coming up later on in the ball game.
Baltimore comes into play today, 6.5 games in back of the Yankees. They are second from the bottom. half game better than Toronto, who we will see the next 3 ball games after leaving here.
To left field it goes, and Jones is on with a 1-out single.
You certainly have a feeling that Adam Jones, especially if he waits back on changeups like that one, he's going to start putting up some big numbers.
Oh, he is now 2 for 2 against Holmberg in his career, but 11 homers already for Jones. And now Manny Machado with 1 out and 1 on. And a breaking ball for strike 1. Jones, since 2011, has at least 25 home runs in every season.
He's going to get there again. He plays in just a great ballpark with a very low fence in left and left center.
Career high was 33 home runs. One of his 4 straight All-Star seasons. That was back in 2013.
His contribution to the ball club transcends hitting home runs, however. He's an excellent center fielder.
Very comfortable in center field. I mean, you see the way he maneuvers out there, and he's a smart outfielder.
The real good ones appear to actually be moving before the guy hits the ball. It's because in center field you can actually read the angle of the bat. You've got a really good idea about where the ball is going, so you can get a very quick first step. That's why guys will tell you that have played all 3 positions, center field is the easiest of all the outfield positions. But one thing you have to have, especially in some of these spacious parks, you have to have great speed. That disqualifies a whole lot of people from playing that position. If you have the requisite speed, it's not hard to track down the baseball, the toughest one being that line drive right over your head.
High into the blue sky. Abreu for out number 2 of this first inning. So Machado, after singles in the first inning, the first 2 nights of this series, has gone out in the air the last 2 days. So 2 down for Mark Trumbo, the 31-year-old right fielder.
Baltimore is privy to these numbers like everybody else, and it shows that David Holmberg has thrown an off-speed pitch just under half the time on the first pitch of every at-bat this year. By the time he gets a break on a fastball, if he's going to get that pitch, it's going to be a good day for David and not a good day for the Oriole hitters, because that one was a couple inches off the outside corner.
Grounded foul, 0-2. We saw Derek Holland a couple of nights ago using the curveball to start off these Baltimore hitters.
It was a change from what he's been doing, and because he dropped so many over the plate, they started swinging at it, and he had a particularly good one that evening, so they didn't do a whole lot with him.
Oh, 2. It's off the plate. Orioles broke a 6-game losing streak last night with that 10-6 win. Broke an 11-game road losing streak as well. Anderson at shortstop goes the short way to retire the side. 1-out single goes by the boards, and the Sox will take aim at Chris Tillman after this. No score. Sox lineup this year, 60 in 65 games. Melky, then Anderson and Abreu. Garcia, Frazier, Davidson DHing. He is 5 of 11, a homer in 3 straight games. Sanchez, Smith, and Garcia, your final 3.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Chris Tillman. It's Rickard, Jones, and Trumbo in the outfield with 4 Gold Gloves for Adam Jones, and Machado with 2 Gold Gloves, Tejeda, and Scope along with Mancini. Caleb Joseph gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is big right-hander Chris Tillman. There you look at the ERA, the 1-4 record. He's had a hard time spotting his fastball. He normally has a very good curve, but if you don't spot the fastball, then the curve is not near as effective because you're pitching from behind. That's why Tillman's ERA is inflated.
Had a very short stint last time out. Faces Melky here to start the game, and there is strike number 1. Tillman last time, that was at the Yankees in the 3-game sweep. He went just 1 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 9 earned runs, a career high. Hard hit, second base. Scope bobbles it, regathers, and is just in time.
That ball hit awfully hard, and Scope stayed with it. Melky busted it down the line, just couldn't get there. Scope normally has very good hands. A converted shortstop. He probably has the best arm on this ball club, which is saying something when you have Manny Machado, a Gold Glove third baseman.
That ball skated a little bit, and he still kept it close enough. Foul ball from Anderson for strike 1. Tillman's velocity's down a couple miles an hour. Had the shoulder injury.
And I think what happens, he threw so very well against us in Baltimore, and the stuff looked crisp, but that was his first game back. If you don't have a spring training or just parts of your spring training, you don't have the requisite arm strength. And so it really affects his curveball, which is his best pitch. When that's right, Chris Tillman can win a lot of games. There you look at that ball game we were mentioning in 93 pitches. No runs, 3 hits, 5 innings. He came over along with Adam Jones in a 5-for-1 deal that sent Eric Bedard to Seattle. Andy McPhail, then the general manager, made that deal, and it was as good a deal as he's ever made.
Now, on that start on May 7th that you were talking about, first 2 guys got on. Melky walked. Larry Garcia walked. Avi reached on an error, so his bases loaded, 1 out. And Abreu pop out in between, and then Frazier lined out. Cody Ashley grounded out, and the Sox never got to Tillman. Just 3 singles. The first time through the order has been the tough time, and part of that is that Yankee game last time out. But first time through the order, opponents are hitting .418 against Tillman.
Melky scorched that ball. He just happened to hit it right at Scope.
In the air, right center field, and Trumbo. Picks to click today. You can vote online, you the fan, at whitesox.com/pick to click. Crew's got the lead by 1 over you.
Look at that Crew, huh?
Yeah, look at the Crew. You're coming for him, though.
I'm trying. I'm bearing down. I mean, I was coasting into it for a while, but now I am bearing down. Laser focus.
Well, you're at your best late night. You got the win yesterday, so congratulations to you.
Thank you.
2 down, Abreu. And strike number 1. Jose's had a very nice series. 7 hits so far against Baltimore this time around. The Orioles will be rather pleased that Jose Abreu will not have to face them in the regular season.
Yeah, seeing the Orioles again, it would have to be in the playoffs, which would be a nice thing to happen. Last year, Tillman went 16-6. He had some very good years with Baltimore. He was 9-3 in 2012, 16-7 in 2013, 13-6, and 11-11, and 16-6. So with Baltimore, things have gone very well with him. Coming into this year, 72-48. When you're that far over 500, you've got really good stuff. And that's where it stands right now. 21 games over 500, starting his 187th game.
3-1. Now 3-2. Reached back for 91 that time, but again, we've seen him in the past 93, 94.
The problem is, for a pitcher who believes his velocity is not quite there, you try to get more into it. When you do that, when you're straining and tensing up, the ball straightens out. You lose your movement if you try to get another couple extra miles an hour. That's not a good position to be in.
Jose to right field. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Tillman. First is gone. We've had no runs. Presented by State Farm. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Dish Network.
Hello. There's a young lady who decided that that outfit would look just wonderful at the ballpark.
A Bulls fan. What is that device there? Is that a water bottle? A
Yes.
mister.
It's Mr. Mister.
It spritzes you and then sings Kyrie.
There you go. A good plan.
I don't know that they'd sell many of those, gotta say. Here's Trey Mancini, who takes strike number 1. And for all the Orioles want Jose Abreu to go away, the Sox feel the same about Mr. Mancini.
Well, in the early going, Ramon DeJesus behind the plate has got a great pitcher's plate. And that fan made a nice catch. Little looping foul ball.
Two ways to deal with the sun. Number 1, the sunglasses, but number 2, the old parasol.
Probably a wise choice today.
Which one?
Parasol. Very warm. A little bit of a breeze to cool things off a touch.
Breaking ball hit in the air center field, and Garcia for out number 1. You know, it's interesting. The Sox go on the road for the 9 games in 10 days. Last day of the previous homestand with the Red Sox in town, the final game, it was 70 degrees at game time. First game of this homestand, it was what, 85?
Well, there's some cool weather coming in after we leave town. We'll be in Toronto enjoying the weather there, despite the fact they have a dome on the ballpark.
They may have the roof open.
I would think so. Weather's going to be nice. When the roof is open, it's much more lively. So pitchers like it closed. Hitters love the roof open.
Blue Jays are off today after a win against Tampa Bay in the series finale yesterday, 7-6. It's another option for the Sun is the straw hat.
We'll have those in abundance. Country and Western night. First, you have to be one of the first 1,000 people in the ballpark. Then you'll get a fine-looking cowboy hat.
Does that mean the next 15,000 people get a bad-looking one?
They get a hearty handshake. Thank you for attending the old ball game.
I think there's a special ticket involved there too for country music night for the hat. Scope on the ground. Sanchez down to reel it in, and 2 down. 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Thinking about buying a home? Visit rate.com to find a low mortgage rate and a fast and easy process.
When we saw Baltimore in Baltimore, Castillo was hurt, didn't play. We've seen in this series a couple of different things. Number one, he can shut down a running game because he came into this series throwing out 43% of the men who have tried to steal against him. And two, with his grand slam last night, he's an offensive force, driven to 22 runs with 5 home runs, so things going very well for Wellington.
30-year-old catcher takes ball number 1. Well, the grand slam yesterday was the big blow for the Orioles, and you know how it is when you're losing 6 games in a row, 11 straight on the road. You're waiting for somebody to do something that changes it, and he did.
Miguel got a fastball up and out over the plate, and Castillo probably took it 420, 425 feet. Clearing the bases. Baltimore was down by a run at that point, and they picked up a lead they never relinquished.
Two balls and a strike from David Holmberg in his 4th Sox start, and Castillo bashes this ball foul.
Castillo came into professional baseball with the Cubs. Made it to Chicago for a very short period of time in 2010. Was there for parts of a few more years before being shuttled to Seattle and then the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That was in one season, 2015. Cubs, Mariners, Diamondbacks. He was traded by the Cubs in May of that year. Then on June 3rd, it was May 19th, gets traded to the Mariners, and then June 3rd the Mariners send him away for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Garcia in center, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. Sox will bat bottom 2, no score.
An official White Sox MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Well, if you're not at camp or you're not hanging out throwing the ball around in your yard, perfect place to spend your summer afternoon, the ballpark.
Beautiful day today, certainly, and the wind is going to make it a little more tolerable as that young man outfitted with a Sox jersey and some campers.
See, that's the way to do it. You go to camp, and then your camp takes you to the ballpark.
That is a nice way to do it, and probably supplies some refreshments, which is always good.
Everybody's having a great time at the ballpark, but the people who are having the least amount of fun are the counselors here at this ballpark. It is no fun to wrangle 50 campers at a baseball game.
No, it is a touch like herding cats.
Is that a job you've had in the past?
Just briefly in the summertime. Didn't do it particularly well.
Did you get paid?
Intern.
Intern cat herder. Avi Garcia down the right field line and arching. Foul. There's a conversation in the pregame show, you may have heard it, about where Avi Garcia's batting average will end the season. The fans voted in the poll and said top 10 in the American League. You think so?
If he can continue to do what he's doing now, I'm not talking about, hitting the ball hard, because he's going to do that. I'm talking about waiting back on breaking pitches and changeups. If he continues to do that and uses the whole field, which he looks like he has every intention of doing, he could wind up 310, 312 this year.
On the ground and through.
There's an example. When you're swinging it well, it looks like there's 4 defenders. When you're in a slump, it feels like there's 14 defenders. And this one scooted through the left side. It's a fastball inside off the plate. Had some movement, but Avi swinging it very well. Got that batting average now up over 340.
The surge this year for Avi Garcia has been impressive to watch. And Ricky Renteria, I think if you asked him in spring training, he would say, I think this is going to happen. He felt comfortable with where Avi was, but until it actually breaks out, you don't know.
No, and he, rededicated himself, lost a lot of weight, got in better shape. But the fundamental difference is not jumping out and getting everything the pitcher throws. Don't swing at the motion. Try to swing at the baseball, and if they're going to keep it away from you, take the ball the other way.
Two strikes on Frazier. Todd looking for his first hit of the series.
Tillman's always been very good against the Sox lineup, regardless of who is currently wearing the uniforms. He's 4-2 with an ERA just over 3 for his career.
Orange County native out of Fountain Valley High School, Chris Tillman, same high school that provided the Blue Jays and other teams eventually. Casey Jansen.
Until he got hurt, had a good arm and very good stuff.
1-2 is in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Nice stop by Caleb Joseph.
You had a nice chat with Caleb Joseph for the day yesterday.
Yeah, he's a very nice man who understands his situation, certainly, and I believe came close to setting a record. If he didn't, he had a full season interrupted by injury where he had to have surgery, but he didn't drive in a run. It's a couple years back, like 127 at bats, not one run driven in.
Frazier goes after it downstairs and 1 away here in the 2nd inning. So Matt Davidson is on the way, and he's trying to make it a clean sweep in the series of home runs in every game. This was Monday night. grand slam. And then yesterday, to lead off the rally in the second inning, Derek Holland watches it fly.
Best part about that sequence, other than the fact that he hit 3 home runs, was that they all went in different directions.
He was pretty pull-oriented down in the minors, but the power certainly is there the opposite way.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm sure Todd Severson has talked to him about, is that you don't have to even think about pulling the ball with the power he has, which is probably in the top 5% of all the players in the major leagues. Davidson has that kind of power. And so you don't worry about pulling the ball, because if you get it on the good spot of the bat, it's going to go out any direction.
There you see.
Yeah, he hits it to left, hits it to right, but doesn't use center field all that much.
Up high, 1-2. Big swing.
It was a changeup that didn't do a whole lot, but because it was so far out of the zone, no contact at all.
Ball and 2 strikes. And he got him swinging for route number 2. White Sox fans, join us Friday, June 30th for Mullet Night and a post-game fireworks show presented by Great Clips. The night features haircuts courtesy of Great Clips and mullet wigs for purchase to support Ronald McDonald House Charities. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866 Sox Game. Well, Mullet Night's a little early. That was party in the front and party in the back, though.
Mullet Night's a great night here. I like that, and I like the dog nights or dog days, whatever they have.
If you had it your way, you would have 3 dog nights.
Yes, with multiple dogs in attendance.
1-1 to Sanchez. Garcia at first, 2 down. I believe we have a special guest joining us coming up in the top of the 3rd.
Oh, good.
It's Christine O'Reilly.
I know. The queen of community relations.
Down the line and foul from Sanchez. Talked a little bit yesterday about Tim Anderson's new initiative trying to help build leaders in the community. And Christine's got some Mark Burley news for us, I believe.
There is the aforementioned Tim Anderson.
One and 2. Slap to left, base hit.
There's a slow breaking ball, and so far Tillman doesn't have a good curveball, and hopefully that won't come to him for quite some time. But Yomer, who's been as consistent as anybody around, came in as a switch hitter, hitting .289 right-handed, .287 left-handed, and this time he just waited back for that breaking ball to roll up there around waist high, took it the opposite way, and keeps the inning alive for a man who certainly has enjoyed this series, Kevin Smith.
And his first career home run on Monday night. 2-hit night, drove in 3. And eventually did come up with the baseball, though it was not officially authenticated because it went into the stands. It's the one blip in the authentication process in terms of chain of custody. If it goes into the stands, you can't necessarily verify it unless you have cameras out there.
Well, there is the authenticator, and the good thing about what happened is that Kevin Smith is not going to be selling that baseball anytime soon. So for him, it is authenticated.
How about that pen? Was that the official authentication pen?
Yes, and he got it at the authentication store.
Do you get that after you finish the authenticator process? You get the pen as a token?
It's some grueling schoolwork to get that job.
And as the authenticator goes to his phone, he quickly realizes that he is being talked about on television screens. Authentically, of course. 0-2 on Smith. Fouled away.
I think Tillman wanted to get that ball up a little higher. He didn't. Kevin had a good swing at it, but fouled it straight back.
Avi and Yolmer with base hits in the inning. After a 1-2-3 first for Tillman.
Where the boys on the bases has got to take that good secondary lead, because after a high fastball, you start thinking about a breaking ball down and perhaps the dirt.
That was right down the middle.
He threw a fastball that was thigh high and split the middle of the plate. That's something I think he wants to repeat.
That for Kevin Smith, the former quarterback, is when you have the tight end down the seam with nobody around and you overthrow him by half a yard. Oh, 2 from Tillman. Breaking ball low, 1-2.
That was a nice job of laying off that, because it looked tantalizing as it came up there, dropped out of the zone. Kevin really read it well. He watched it all the way back and never really offered at it.
Like maybe a cutter.
Was in the zone briefly and then just dipped out.
1-2. Spoiled a pretty good pitch from Tillman. Still 1-2. Saw the campers earlier. These are the senior campers. Nice to see big groups enjoying the day baseball.
And it is a beautiful day for it.
Well over 20 pitches now in the inning for Tillman after a 1-2-3 first. Orioles pitchers have struggled with the walk this year. That's ball 3. Orioles have the 4th most walks per 9 innings of any team in Major League Baseball at 3.72.
And now the advantage will be both base runners off to the races with a full count and 2 outs. Willie Garcia waiting to see if Kevin can keep it alive.
Tillman on 3-2. It'll take another 3-2 pitch and a nice play in the stands. We are in the era of the meeting.
There's a lot of them. And I think what Joseph's going out there to tell him is stay closed. And by staying closed, by keeping the left shoulder closed, or what pitching coaches will tell you a lot is try to show your number to the hitter, which means you have to stay closed. If you're a right-hander, to a right-hand hitter especially, if you can do that, you're going to get a whole lot more behind it. If you fly open, your arm can't catch up, and you usually leave it high and inside to right-handers, high and away to the lefties.
Just foul.
Had a good chance scoring 3, but went to the right of the bag.
So Kevin Smith, who has seen a snowball fight in our Honda pitch cast, it'll take an 11th pitch.
He appears not to be using the corners very much to Kevin.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Avi at second, Yolmer at first. On the ground, left side. Tejada keeps it on the infield, throws it wide. Everybody's set. Bases loaded.
Tejada made a nice play, but could not get up in time. Keeping it in the infield, saved a run. Throws it off the mark. And Mancini, with the first responsibility, is getting the baseball. There's lots of times where you can't possibly keep your foot on the bag, and you got to go get the ball. In that case, he also saved a run, possibly 2.
Yeah, look to find another day here with the 9-hitter up. Willie Garcia trying to do some damage for the Sox. Bases loaded, 2 down. Called strike 1.
Ace hit here would do wonders for not only this ball game, but the confidence of Willie Garcia.
0 for 3 last night, was pinch hit for in the 9th by Alan Hansen, who homered. Willie did have a nice night in the series opener at 2 for 3 with a triple in the 5th inning. Tillman had the last 2 batters at 2 strikes. Gave up 2 singles. Garcia does not get the same result. Tillman strikes out the side, allows 3 base hits, but no runs. No score after 2. President for Community Relations for the Sox. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
It's a great day.
It's a very exciting next homestand because of the Mark Burley retirement, and I know you folks in Community Relations are doing a pretty neat thing for fans who donate, right?
Yeah, Mark's been really cooperative, really excited, raising some money not only for White Sox charities, but for 2 charities that Mark designated. So the opportunity is a sweepstakes. The grand prize is an opportunity to be on the field, and as Mark's ceremony is taking place, a meet and greet with Mark, jersey, really cool opportunities. So it's a sweepstakes, and it's a tiered sweepstakes. So you can enter at a bunch of different levels, beginning at $10, going up to $300. The higher the sweepstakes level that you enter, the more raffle prizes that you get. But it closes tomorrow at 5 o'clock, because obviously we need time to notify the winner and make all the plans for them to get to the ballpark. So people have another day, of almost a full day, to go online at whitesox.com/56 for charity, see what level works for them, and get a chance to be on the field and part of the ceremony.
I don't want to exactly let the cat out of the bag, but there's only six autographed jerseys left. And
Yep.
so if you want one of those, and a lot of people apparently do because we started with 40, you have to call in. You have to be able to secure one of those before they're gone, and then we add another 40. No, is there?
And then they can go for the baseball or for the photos. But yeah, the autographed jersey, that's the $300 level where you get the most chances at winning the ultimate prize of being a part of the ceremony. And as Steve said, you get a jersey. But yeah, we've had a lot of entries at that level. We've got 6 of those remaining, but an opportunity to win a baseball or an autographed photo. We've got custom Mark Burley t-shirts that we're doing for this promotion, all sorts of autographed items. Mark's been so wonderful. He's coming in next week to hand sign everything. And you know, anybody who has paid attention to the White Sox and seen either Frank's retirement or Paulie's retirement, you know what those ceremonies are like and how special they are. So for the chance to be on the field and be a part of that, we thought was pretty cool.
You got to know Mark a little bit through his time here and what he's like. Tell the fans who haven't gotten a chance to see him interact with him what he really is like off the field.
The game probably would have been over by now. No, what a great guy. Just a great family man. People always said, what's he like? And I was like, you know what? He's real. He's real. Jamie's real. Their family was amazing. His folks were here all the time. And truly, it was like your next door neighbor. So dedicated to his family, really big animal advocates, really big dog advocates. In fact, one of the agencies that they're supporting is a no-kill shelter near their hometown. So just everybody loved him. He had a really great sense of humor. You know, we were always told, oh, you never want to talk to the starting pitcher on the day that he's talking. Mark's like, why is nobody talking to me? You know, he was just so even. He treated everybody wonderfully, and he was the same guy every single day.
Even on the no-hitter of the perfect game, I mean, he was going from player to player. Nobody wanted to talk to him at all, and he was going up saying, you know, I've got a no-hitter going. Well, obviously everybody knew that, and that's just his personality.
Yeah.
He didn't really care about what was going on. He knew that it had no effect on what was going to happen next inning. And if you throw a no-hitter in a perfect game, both, that's getting it done.
Yeah. You know, and I think when we announced the fact that we were going to retire his number, and if you were able to read any of the articles that were written, he was so humble. And that really, I think, epitomizes him, too. He kind of was like, gosh, I'm not sure, you know, why are you doing this for me? But to Steve's point, I mean, that's pretty incredible, his accomplishments on the mound.
Well, I talked with his father, who, by the way, when you shake his hand, he engulfs your hand and it just disappears. His father's a very big, strong man. And he said when Mark was drafted, way down in the draft, a 38th round, something along those lines, he said he was hoping maybe a middle reliever, you know, win a game here or there, but, you know, get a paycheck, but couldn't expect much of anything more, and it turned out to be a whole lot more.
Yeah, so he was so fun to watch. You know, you had to be in your seats because he was super fast. The staff all loved it, you know, the day game staff, because you get out of here so early. Super fun to watch on the field, but I really feel so fortunate to have been able to meet him and Jamie and his folks, and again, you know, how great it was when we called. We said, hey, we have this idea. We'd like to raise a little bit of money for White Sox charities and some of your charities as well. He was on board right away, and we're excited to offer that opportunity for fans to be right down there with them. So again, it closes tomorrow at 5. So we're encouraging folks to visit whitesox.com/56 for charity. Make a donation, enter the sweepstakes,
And by the way, just a personal note, there's a special place in heaven for those people who are involved with no-kill shelters, because we lose so many animals, because quite obviously there's an abundance of them, but the no-kill shelters gives everybody an opportunity to go down for a modest price and get yourself whatever animal you might like, and they just make life better. Animals make life better.
You know, the other agency he's supporting is called Mission Continues, which is an organization that serves members of the military who have served. So again, I think that so represents Mark, right? I mean, he just gets it. So between the no-kill shelters, which you're right, Steve, are just really special places, and this Mission Continues, which is actually a national organization that Mark has been involved in, the fact that they'll be receiving some of the funds along with White Sox charities. So whitesox.com/56 for charity until 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then we can't wait to meet the winners on the field on Mark Burley Retirement Day, which is the 24th.
Yeah, you can support 3 great causes while also getting a chance to go actually hang out with Mark Burley on a day that's going to be terribly emotional for him too. I mean, that's a pretty neat gift.
Yeah, you know, I got to be on the field for Paul Konerko's retirement, just being able to experience it that close. You know, like you said, the emotions of the day are just so palpable, even more so when you're right there. So we're hoping that you know, we've had a great response so far. We've still got some autographed items left, Steve, which you said, baseballs, the jerseys, the photos, the signed cards, the cool T-shirts. So again, we're just we're happy Mark was so supportive, and we can't wait to meet the fans on a week from Saturday, right, when the team comes back.
Well, Christine, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.
And we hope
good luck and keep it going.
Are sure people are going to go to whitesox.com/56 for charity to join in.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Christine O'Reilly, Vice President for Community Relations for the White Sox. Frazier starts it, and the turn for a double play. Christine's the new good luck charm. Bottom 3 next, no score.
Authenticator earlier in the game, and Alan Hansen got his first big league home run ball authenticated yesterday. He said, even though these guys don't know me very well, they were so happy for me when they found out it was my first home run. It was such a great feeling. Also, his wife and child just got into town last night, so she was able to watch it on TV. And I talked to him yesterday about what it's like being here in Chicago, making the transition. He said, I feel so comfortable here. It's a very laid-back environment. It's definitely not like Pittsburgh. He said there they wanted me to take English classes. Here they have a rich tradition with Latinos, and I feel so comfortable. He also mentioned how big of a deal it is that Ricky Renteria speaks his language. He said it makes all the difference in the world as far as communicating with his big league manager. Guys, let's send it back up to you in the booth.
Sierra, thank you. And I'm brought back to what Luis Roberts said during his press conference about how important it was that Ricky Renteria spoke directly to him in his native language in the video, helping to bring him here to Chicago. There is something building with the White Sox in terms of embracing people from other cultures that is making it a very wonderful place for people to go.
Well, he also heard from Jose Abreu, and there is no doubt that the White Sox ball club, for a long time now, not just of recent vintage, for a long time, they dealt very well with Cuban players. Going back to Minnie Minoso, this has been a great place for him, and in recent years, many more Cuban players coming and donning White Sox uniforms, and that had to help in the decision-making process. There's a look at Orestes Minoso. What a player he was.
And again, Hansen being from the Dominican Republic, you have guys from a lot of different areas who feel welcome, comfortable, and able to be themselves, and that speaks quite a bit to Ricky Renteria, but also the willingness of the Sox to embrace those cultures.
And look, each and every year there are more Latino players coming into the major leagues, and because of that, we're going to see more Latino managers start to manage, because, as Alan Hansen said, it's nice when your manager can speak to you in your language.
But it's got to be strange for Hansen, who comes up through one minor league system and then shows up in a new place and hits his first major league home run, has like his best day of his career. It's like moving to a different elementary school and having your family win the lottery. People like, who's this? Should we be happy? But the Sox were terribly happy as Scope throws out Melky for out number 1.
Well, if you can't get your opportunity with the team that brought you to the major leagues, sometimes you get a chance to go someplace else and the opportunities will open up for you. So the philosophy of most players is, I would love to stay with the team that originally signed me or brought me to the major leagues, and everybody wants that as a goal. The reality is, in each and every game you play, you're auditioning for the other 29 teams in baseball.
And you've just got to, you've just got to fit into the clubhouse wherever you go. There's really no accounting for being able to mesh with people right off the bat.
No, and normally, if a team has a definitive leader, he's going to be able to explain the characteristics of the ball club to any new player coming in. Talking about the history of the team and exactly what is expected of them. It works a lot better if your teammates tell you that, as opposed to either coaches or the manager. Not that they won't, because they obviously will, but if your contemporaries, if your peers, your teammates tell you what's expected of you, then there's no excuses for you not to fit in. You either fit in or go someplace else, and the good organizations historically have done that. You might get there, but you're not going to stay there unless you get with the program.
Yeah, but think about it. As people are sitting and listening at home, you go to a new job and there's this whole orientation process, right? They take you to this meeting and that meeting, and you meet your boss and you meet all these people. You know how it is when you join a new team. You just walk in the clubhouse and whatever happens, happens. There's no schedule for you.
Nope.
And there's a game that day for those folks.
They hand you a uniform and say, go get them. And that's pretty much it. But again, in the better teams, and I can only go with the way things were for me when I finally got to Baltimore, they were a really good team. In fact, won 202 games the first 2 years I was there combined, and I was told in no uncertain terms by a lot of different players that there's a certain amount expected of you. One of the phrases was, we know where you came from. On also ran teams, you give the game away in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Here in Baltimore, we take the game away in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Keep us close. We will win you more games than you ever thought you could win in your life. And he was exactly right.
Tim Anderson reaches out and flies it to left center. Joey Rickard, we're out number 2. White Sox fans, join us for Country Music Night. As we talked about, the White Sox take on the Oakland A's Friday, June 23rd, 7:10 p.m. Be sure to stay after the game for a post-game fireworks show presented by Coca-Cola. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/country.
Just might get yourself a cap or a hat
or a twang.
A choice of either. Yeah.
You might come to the ballpark and get a twang.
Shania, isn't it?
Oh. You know, if there were odds on puns, I would have won a mother load there.
Well, could have said Mark.
Huh. Whew. I just need a moment after those. That ball smoked to left field. Abreu is 1 for 2.
When Jose is hot, and he is just that, you leave one there, which is middle of the plate, and it's probably going to get hit awfully hard, as this one was. Well, Jose keeps the inning alive.
We just haven't seen him get jammed very much this year as compared to the beginning of last year, first couple months.
No, and what I like is he's laying off a lot of pitches 3-4 inches inside, because pitchers love to throw there when they get ahead of you, when you're forced to defend the plate.
On the ground, base hit. Avi continues to singe the baseball everywhere there aren't fielders. He's 2 for 2.
They can both through the left side. Machado has had one of those series where, try as he might, and he's a great defender, but he seems to come up a little short with just about everything. And that one, a couple inches, and it stays in the infield. But the inning stays alive. The second straight inning with 2 outs, Sox have put together a little mini rally.
5 hits, all singles against Tillman. And there are flaws to the WAR stat, wins above replacement. We've talked about it, but it's a stat that tries to equate what you've done holistically, tries to make you a full player as compared to the guy you could get replaced by. And Avi for this season is at 2.3, which would be by far the best of his career. Last year was 0.5. And the remainder of his time with the Sox, he was in the negative in that number. So just overall, even, he's had a better year. Strikeout rate is down. Don't forget, we'll play Sox math coming up in the top of the 4th. Sox are hoping to do some addition here in the 3rd. One and 2 on Todd. In the air, first base side. Mancini, a long run. This ball's foul.
Trumbo did a wise thing. He slid and made sure that there was no collision as Scope, Mancini, and Trumbo converging on the same spot. But nobody could get to it. A lot of hustle from everyone concerned, but no chance.
Sox trying to get over the top against Tillman. 5 hits, all singles the last 2 innings. They're at about 990 paper cuts, but haven't gotten to 1,000 yet to do in Tillman. One and 2. Boy, setup was outside. He came in.
Occasionally a pitcher will do that by design. I don't think that Tillman was trying to do it that time, as Castillo is wanting a low fastball. Instead, he got a belt high fastball on the inside part of the plate. The best thing that happened for Tillman was that it was 3-4 inches off the inside corner.
One and 2. Came in again.
He came in and he got it in. That's where a lot of home runs are hit, with pitchers who don't understand how to pitch inside. They think every time you throw inside, you have to throw inside for a strike. If a hitter opens up, if he's looking in there, that strike on the inside part of the plate goes a long way.
Pitch number 68 of the afternoon is strike 3. 2 left on. Tillman gets out of it. No score after 3. Last time the pilot was fantastic. It's been renewed. Steve, do you want a pickle?
No, actually, I was thinking about that, and I reviewed my decision of last night, proving to be completely correct. So no pickles, especially on nachos. But there's everything else you might want in here, things that you don't even know about. They're here on these nachos, and you can have them because if you win this, we'll send you some of these.
Well, you can win something on the prize shelf and get the nachos?
Sure.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you won't like it by the time it gets there, but right now they look delicious. And there is the prize shelf. Got the southpaw. He's ready to go.
Jedi southpaw.
Birthday coming up, by the way.
Southpaw's birthday,
Yep.
yeah. Coming up. Send gifts to Guaranteed Rate Field, care of Southpaw or care of prize shelf, and we will take all of them and put them on the prize shelf. One strike on Jones, and there is ball number 1.
Just 2 hits so far through 3. That's all that's been yielded by David. A 1-out single in the first inning, a leadoff single last inning, and neither came to fruition.
Breaking ball just missed the plate. 2-1 on Jones. Orioles go back home after this game. The Sox will be off to Toronto for 3, including a 6 o'clock start time tomorrow at Rogers Center. And day baseball over the weekend, high noon here in Chicago. It's both games Saturday, Sunday at noon from Toronto before the off day on Monday.
When Baltimore goes home, they will face the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Cleveland comes to town for 4. That's not going to be an easy homestand.
Cardinals fell on hard times, made some coaching changes. Mike Matheny stays, but some rearranging of the bench and assistance for Mike Matheny. Mozeliak and the Cardinals trying to figure out exactly what's missing. That's strike 3, and a primal scream from Jones. without number 1. Here's your Sox math question for today. Hashtag Sox math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize show. Number of games in a row Avi has a hit in entering today. Add the number of times the Sox scored in the first 2 innings last night. Subtract the sum of the numbers in the area code today's opponent is in, their main phone number. Then multiply the number of games scheduled for the next Sox homestand. That's your Sox math question for today. Get out your calculator, your web browser, and clear all the other people from the room. You can win nachos and a prize.
Nachos are still looking very good.
I can't wait for the break.
The All-Star break?
No, I don't think these are going to hold until then. Jason, what'd you have for lunch right after that Rockies series? Those nachos from June.
They were good.
Ball and a strike on Manny Machado as David Holmberg once again has thrown well for the Sox in his starting job.
There's some young ladies certainly enjoying this one. It's a birthday celebration.
There might be a little too much caffeine already, gotta say. Oh, they love us.
That's also a group who could really use those nachos.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Machado torn down by Holmberg, 2 away.
This pitch is way off the plate. Manny just didn't see it well, and nowhere near the location that Kevin Smith wanted it. He wanted this ball inside. This is way high and away, and Machado, who's come back in this series after battling a sore wrist, not swinging it quite the way he can.
Two down for Trumbo. That is well struck up the middle, base hit.
You mentioned St. Louis making some coaching changes, and the fact that they've got to figure out just exactly what the immediate future looks like, and then they can plan for a little bit down the road. But with the division up for grabs, and it truly is, the Brewers are in first place. 1 game in the loss column better than the Cubs. 2 games in the loss column better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are sitting right there 3.5 games back. And so you certainly can't give up on this year because it's anybody's division. And the Cardinals, who for many years depended so heavily on their own farm system and filling the voids created by trades or free agency, the system is not quite as productive these days as it was in the not too distant past. But with the draft now by the boards, you get everybody concentrating on the same thing, and that's trying to figure out if they want to be buyers or sellers at the deadline. And if they do want to be buyers, how much is left as far as the payroll is concerned to go out and acquire some players who might cost you a few bucks.
You mentioned the Cardinals farm system. They just drafted over the weekend, or over the last couple days, I should say, Donovan Williams, who is an ACE program alum of the White Sox. Came through the Sox program. He was picked in the 14th round out of Richards High School. That's a called strike 3. Holmberg pinpoint to the corner, and he strikes out the side after no strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Flip the corner, ended the inning. Bottom 4 next, no score.
Look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Here's your Sox Math winner for today, and we have a new winner. It's Super Sox Fan 79. Avi's 7-game hit streak coming in today. 5 runs the first 2 innings, so that's 12 minus 410. That's 5. So 7 times 10 games in the next scheduled homestand, 10 games. 70 is your answer. Super Sox Fan 79. Congratulations. You win the prize off the prize shelf and maybe a couple nachos in your mailbox.
Defending champions are an endangered species.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of repetition.
No, it's not. I mean, there's Sox Math parody that's sweeping the nation.
Well, because of the draft choices.
No. I mean, you get somebody over slot, and then you have to go and underpay somebody else. It's tough. Salary cap. That ball's hit well. Deep left field. 4 games in a row. Matt Davidson's gone deep.
First extra base hit for the Sox. 14th home run, 35th driven in. And a home run in 4 straight. A Ford home run replay. We'll take another look. For Tillman, who wanted to throw that ball low and away, he got it waist high, middle in. Matt Davidson swinging it too well to miss that one. Not as long as his grand slam, but way back there.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. And Matt Davidson is not going to have any more taxable income. He's deducting every day now. Very philanthropic, Matt Davidson.
Very impressive as far as the power is concerned. Not only leading the team in home runs, but pulling away. And Todd telling him, do it just that way. Don't change. You're doing okay, kid.
The shortstop, Tejada. There is out number 1. I mean, we knew the power was in there. That's why the Sox got Matt Davidson from Arizona. It's because of the power potential, but it has just erupted.
Well, it's one thing. I mean, you saw it there. You saw what Joseph wanted. He wanted that ball away. It's one thing when a pitcher misses his spot. It's another thing for the hitter not to miss that mistake. And Matt is in a situation now where when you do make a mistake on him, he's not missing it.
Seems like a really good decision to have shaved his beard right before this series.
Well, he told us in that interview after the ball game that it was coming back, but I don't think I would rush it back if I was swinging the bat the way he is.
And those have not been cheapies.
No, and for me to get that kind of distance, I'd have to be standing in left field when I swung the bat.
One and one to Smith, who had a milestone, a home run of his own. We told you about Monday night. First career homer. Could he get his first career walk in the same series?
Don't get greedy.
2-2.
He seems much more likely to be the swinging Smith instead of the taking Smith. Been a very aggressive hitter in the early going. He's only had 77 at bats total. There is that 0 in the walk column, however.
Up the middle into center field and a base hit.
It's 2 for 2 for Kevin.
You know, thinking about all these home runs, Smith and Alan Hansen and Matt Davidson with the home run in 4 straight games. I was clicking around last night after the game and looking at the list of the top 25 at bats per home run rate, right? So most home runs in terms of times to the plate. The Sox have had in their uniform 8 of the top 25 guys career in at bats per home run. Willie Garcia gives it a ride, but this one will stay in the ballpark for Jones for out number 2. Some of those guys certainly have not been on the South Side for very long, but number 1 on the list is Mark McGwire, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds. Those are the top 3. But then Jim Thome is 4th all time in at bats per home run at just under 14. Sammy Sosa is 8th, Manny Ramirez 10th, Adam Dunn 11th. Ron Kittle's on the list at 23, just behind Albert Bell, who's 22, and Ken Griffey Jr. at 25. Canseco as well is number 20 all time in at bats per home run. He finished his career with the Sox.
Some of it has to do, especially in the later era, some of it has to do with this ballpark. This is a really good hitter's ballpark, always has been. It's been very lively.
On the ground and through. Brian O'Nora, a nice Nehemiah job to get over the ball. And 2 on with 2 out for Tim Anderson.
Melky takes it back up the middle, and then Jason with a hurdler reference. You don't see that all that often. And some very nifty footwork by Brian O'Nora.
Well, they do the umpire combine, and Brian always has the best vertical leap.
Looked like he was up at least 2.5 inches that time.
Two on, 2 out. Tim Anderson. A half swing and a strike, 0-1. The athletic stylings of umpire Brian O'Nora. He got off the ground pretty good there.
Absolutely. It would be like his 4th or 5th year till he got a rebound in the NBA, but
You're saying he's not triple-double material?
yeah.
This crew's done a very good job being consistent. Hasn't heard very much from either manager.
No, I think this has been a very well umpired series. And this is the first time we've seen Ramon DeJesus behind the plate. He does have very much of a pitcher's plate, but it's been consistent. Been calling the same pitches. A little bit off the outside corner. He'll test the high part of the zone, but again, it's been the same zone in the first inning that it is right here.
0-2. Cue shot first base, and Mancini wins the race for out number 3. Even Rocky had a montage. Matt Davidson gets his own. That was Monday night. Long ball. Tuesday night. Salami. Wednesday night. Oppo. Today in the sunshine. 1-0. Our White Sox insider all season long. CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday shop. The Great Escape. Good day for one of those outdoor pools.
Just a beautiful day for just about anything, and that young man could use a little air conditioning.
Is that a menu?
Just in case. Yes.
How do you know his name?
Probably on the menu, personalized menu in those seats.
You said it was just in case.
Oh, jeez.
Ball one to Scope. And chopped foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
David's thrown it awfully well, and he's got his first lead of the afternoon. And Tillman has given up 8 hits. And only 1 run because he hasn't walked anybody. You give up a lot of hits if you don't put anybody on base via the walk.
Scope, the doubles leader for the Orioles, with 20 of them, including one yesterday. Holmberg behind here, 3-1. Doubles leader in Major League Baseball entering today was a tie with Mookie Betts and Odubel Herrera from Philadelphia, and there is ball 4. So the first walk is of Scope here in the 5th. Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field as the Sox take on the Rangers Saturday, July 1st. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox Hawaiian shirt presented by Beggar's Pizza. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today. It's a good look. Straw hat. Hawaiian shirt. Oh, that's the band from earlier. I'm with the band. They were good.
They were good.
Roving music critic Mike Meyer reports that they played a wide variety of tunes.
Eclectic, I believe, was the term.
And the Hawaiian Shirt Brigade continues here at the ballpark. The Aloha shirts. That's a good one. I like that.
That's a handsome shirt. A little yellow in it.
Excuse me, sir. Where'd you get that? I'd like one. How come he's not responding?
Might have been a gift.
After the meeting, Castillo with a swing and a foul ball first base side. Best giveaway you ever saw at a baseball game?
I believe the Sox had it, and that was that simulated World Series championship ring that was, number 1, beautiful, number 2, very difficult to tell the difference between that one and the real one. And I just think it was a wonderful opportunity for fans to get a piece of memorabilia from one of the most memorable years the Sox have ever had.
I was at a minor league stadium a bunch of years ago, back in 2008, and the giveaway that night was loaves of bread.
And fish?
Nope, just the bread.
Oh, good. It's a nice thing.
There was toast strewn all over the parking lot. Fouled away again by Castillo. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Some day baseball around the majors in the AL Central today. Both Cleveland and the Twins are leading late in their games. Jose Barrios pitched well again for Minnesota.
Well, he's been very good.
It's a base hit for Castillo, and Scope to second base. So first and second, and nobody out in the 5th inning.
Castillo is swinging it well. He's very close to a 300 hitter. That time was a rolling breaking ball that stayed up in the zone, and he took it back up the middle. So some problems here in the 5th inning, and Anthony Swarzak starting to loosen up. Question for Buck Showalter here would be, do you bunt with Tejada? It's a 1-run game. You get some decent speed, not great speed at second, but decent speed. And of course, Castillo is a catcher.
Tejada shows bunt and jabs it foul.
The technique that you have to use if you're going to be a successful bunter is get up in the front of the box, make sure that when you do make contact, it's in fair territory, and then try to catch the ball with the bat. You don't drop the head of the bat. If anything, you try to keep it up so you have a slanted bat as you go and try to make the bunt. If you do that, if the head of the bat is up, you're going to bunt it down. If the head is down, it's going to pop straight up in the air.
Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. As you bunt here, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, and part of this, a great deal of this, is luck. But you're bunting to get to a guy in Caleb Joseph who went an entire year's worth of plate appearances in 49 games without an RBI.
But he's got 11 this year, so it's a renaissance year for him.
In the 9 spot, Joseph. And Tejada flashed a bunt. That wasn't close enough. 2 balls and a strike.
That time it looked like he was thinking about pushing it to the right side. That's a good play if you can execute it. The reason being that you've got a left-hand pitcher who falls off to the third base side, and your second baseman is running to cover first base, your first baseman charging straight in. If you bunt it right at whoever's playing second base, it's going to be impossible for anybody to beat you to the bag at first.
2-1. Swinging away, he pops it up. Sanchez and Garcia, and Willie Garcia makes the call and has the ball for out number 1.
Nice play by Willie, calling off Yolmer and taking charge. Much easier play for him than it is for Yolmer, looking straight up into a high sky. Willie makes the catch. And that's going to be it for David Holmberg as Renteria comes out. He's already motioned to the pen. So he wants to bring in Anthony Swarzak to face the right-handed Caleb Joseph. So as he comes walking in, we'll step out. We'll be back after these messages. White Sox Talk podcast presented by Wintrust. Jim Callis from MLB.com discusses the White Sox draft picks. Plus, find out who were the steals of this year's draft. Subscribe to White Sox podcast today. Our Hyundai call to the pen for the third time in the 4-game series. Anthony Swarzak takes the hill. He's had a terrific year, on for the 26th time. The ERA at 2.70, 2-1 record, but 29 strikeouts to 7 walks in 30 innings. Left-handers haven't done anything with him. The opponent's hitting just 206. So he's got a catcher who doesn't run very well in a situation where he could use a ground ball and out of the inning. Joseph with 5 double plays grounded into. That's just in 37 games.
Swarzak gets strike one. Sox relievers this year have an opponent's average of 212. That's second best in Major League Baseball. The walk has hurt some, leading to the 7th lowest ERA. But in terms of hits against, Sox are as good as anybody in terms of bullpen arms.
Well, there's a lot of fire that comes at you out of that pen, and each succeeding guy throws harder than the next.
Sox bullpen has been oft used in the last month or so. Since May 22nd, 84 innings and 2/3, the 4th most in baseball. Swarzak goes upstairs at 93 for strike 2 as Jennings gets loose.
Jennings probably getting loose just in case Buck Showalter decides that he wants to use a left-hander. He's got Kim on the bench. He started last night's game.
In the air, left center field, and this ball is going to find some turf. Scope around third. He scores. Caleb Joseph with the RBI to tie the game.
That one stayed up for a while, but it split the gap perfectly between Willie and Melky. It's a high fastball. You see that Kevin Smith wanted it upstairs. He probably wanted it higher than that, but Joseph making the most of it, driving in his 12th run. So runners at second and third in what now has become a tie game.
Caleb Joseph, who went 132 at bats without an RBI last season.
What he said to me was, yes, it's historic, but on the other side, you know how good you have to be to get 132 at bats and not drive in 1 run and continue to get at bats? It's got to be pretty good to do that.
So the magic in the number is the number of at bats.
The magic in the number is the fact that they kept running him out there, because if they had anybody better, he would have been there. But it is, when you talk about 132 chances to come to bat and not drive in a run, a bit unusual.
That really stings the double here, because now Rickard comes up with first base open, but you're not terribly inclined to pitch around him with Jones and Machado coming next.
No, and the infield is in, but not in at the cut of the grass. They're back a couple of steps. And one of the reasons why they're back and not in at the cut of the grass is because you've got a catcher at third base. Castillo doesn't run very well. That's how the infielders, when they bring them in, that's how they judge how far they're going to come in, by the speed of the base runner at third.
And in part the aggressiveness of that base runner too, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a good base runner without being real fast, but you got some time to throw the ball home if a guy doesn't have burner speed. Rickard strikes out about 25% of the time, and Anthony could use one here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He got him swinging.
Good slider. That one low and away. And Swarzak got the strikeout that he had to have. That's a situation where you can't afford contact. And he didn't get any. So now here comes Don Cooper. At this part of the season, for whatever reason, whether it's the wrist injury or any other aspect of it, but Jones is swinging better than Machado, and you got first base open.
It's a really interesting thing that you would do, because Manny Machado, typically you'd say, whoa, I don't want him with the bases loaded, but right now I think you're dead on. DeWalt, the official tools of the Chicago White Sox. DeWalt, guaranteed tough, offering total job site solutions.
To give you an idea about how the Orioles have swung the bat, and normally this is a lineup filled with very dangerous hitters. Are they great hitters? No. There's some very good hitters, but there's some very dangerous hitters in this lineup. They have only been issued 3 intentional walks all year. 3. You would think just Chris Davis himself would have many more than that, but he doesn't. Chris Davis, in fact, has just one of the intentional walks. Machado has 1, and Seth Smith has 1.
That one's hit well to right field, but Avi has it scoped for out number 3. Jones trying to ambush Swarzak, can't get it to find grass, and we are just tied at the end of 4½. In the break, because this is one of those laminate it and send it as a gift sort of days.
Problem is you took it to the nachos, so what's that going to tell whoever gets a picture?
No, I'm going to send him a picture of the nachos and say, wish you were here.
On a gorgeous day for nachos.
Jose Abreu will lead it off for the Sox here in the 5th, followed by Avi and Todd. Chuck mentioned the Charlotte Knights on the air tonight. Carson Fulmer with his 4.26 ERA, and Yohan Moncada with a couple of hits last night. Jason Bourgeois was 3 for 5.
Yohan is starting to feel better. Anytime a hitter has a wrist, a hand, a thumb injury, it's going to take some time to come back. And Yohan was tearing it up before the thumb injury. it looks like now he's starting to feel good again. And when he's feeling good, he's a destructive offensive player. And against the Orioles this year, Jose has been a destructive offensive player, hitting a robust .481.
Tag to right field. Trumbo is back, and he stalls at the warning track. So one down as we take a look at the White Sox Farm Report presented by Ozinga. Knights win 4-3, 13 innings. Tie of the game actually pretty speedy, 4:15 for 13 innings. But Jacob May walks, steals a base, gets to third on an out, and then comes home with a wild pitch for the winning run.
You can bet there were a lot of nights that were encouraging him to find some way to end the ball game. So Jacob has gone down there, didn't hang his head, didn't work out well for him here, but he went down there. He's putting together a pretty solid season, and you know, like everybody else who had one taste of it, he wants that second opportunity, and you'd have to believe somewhere along the line he's going to get it as the Sox continue to look for center fielders.
You know, it was interesting. I talked to him maybe 2-3 weeks after he was sent down, maybe a little bit before that. And he said one of the things he's trying to do is explain to the guys who've never been to the big leagues that all the hard work down in the minors pays off, that you actually do get the opportunity, and it is worth it. Even though it was a short opportunity, about a month and a week for Jacob May, he was the guy bringing hope to the AAA veterans or even some of the younger guys who've never been up here.
Well, as a young player and someone who's looking for the opportunity, you could hardly find a better team and a better organization to be with than the White Sox, because they have no problem bringing guys up through their system and giving them a shot in the major leagues. Now, however it works out, but unlike some other organizations, you're going to get the opportunity if you're in the White Sox organization, because they're used to bringing up young players.
Check swing. He did go in strike three. So Avi makes his first out of the game after 2 singles in his first 2 at bats. And I think Avi just got run.
Apparently he got thrown out of the game. And Ricky Renteria is very hot at Paul Emmel, because he gave him the heave-ho from way down the line at first base, and Ricky is absolutely incensed, and justifiably so. You got a man much closer to the play in Ramon De Jesus. He made no signal with Avi. It was Paul Emmel from probably 110 feet away who decided to ring him, despite the fact that Avi's back was to Emmel. So he certainly couldn't hear anything that he had to say or how he said it.
And that's one of those where you got to swallow the whistle and let him say what he's going to say. And Ricky is giving that to Paul Emmel, and rightfully so.
You're taking away one of the stars of the team in a situation that Paul Emmel did not have to insert himself in. And Ricky, undoubtedly given the boot also.
Got his money's worth.
He did.
Defends his guy.
And Avi, 2 for 3 with a couple of base hits.
Now watch the reaction.
It looked like he checked it up, but look, it's a judgment call.
See, that signal is going to make an umpire frustrated, but
110 feet away.
110 feet away.
Yeah, and the home plate umpire didn't make the call. Now, granted, he's a young umpire. That probably has something to do with it.
But by the way, one other piece of evidence, Avi Garcia was going back to the dugout. He didn't stand out there to continue showing him up. He was leaving, so let him go. Todd Frazier in the air left side. And there is out number 3 in a divisive inning, and one that didn't work out great for the White Sox. Avi is out of the game. 6th inning coming next.
He opens up about his decorated career on the South Side. It's all part of the celebration as the team retires his number June 24th. Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, premieres tonight at 9 on CSN or live stream at csnchicago.com/watchlive. So a couple of changes. You lose a Garcia and add a Garcia. So Willie shifts from center to right. Uri comes in the ball game. He had some hand issues, so he checks into center field.
If you're being truly diligent in your scorebook, you cross out the center fielder and put in the new center fielder, and you cross out the right fielder and you put in the new right fielder, but all you do is rewrite Garcia.
I just put the L and the W on top.
Two strikes on Manny Machado, so Avi Garcia ejected. Ricky Renteria ejected. Check swing, no go, and the crowd and Paul Emmel do not see eye to eye.
With the wrist issue, it's a good time to throw that fastball right in under the hands of Machado, who checks it up. Let's see where Kevin wants it. No, it's going to be a breaking ball away.
Wrap to third, Todd Frazier. Time now for America's fastest growing sensation, where we quiz Steve about his own career. Which Red Sox players scored a run and drove in a run in Steve's 25th win for Baltimore of the 1980 season? So this is when you were on the Orioles, and which Red Sox player did that?
Well, it would be really easy to say Jim Rice. 21 for 39. I helped put him in the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to say Dave Stapleton only because he would be the least likely of all of them to do that, and you're a crafty little fellow who occasionally throws in a question like that.
You're calling me an impish trickster.
Well,
I don't appreciate that.
If I knew what that meant, I would, but a deceptively spunky guy who makes trick questions on occasion.
You got spunk. I hate spunk. Ball and a strike on Trumbo.
Mark Trumbo is thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, plain and simple. Nobody on, one out. And a man who hit 47 last year, sitting on just 8 this year.
Reached out to foul it away, 1-2. Orioles tied the game with an RBI double from Caleb Joseph last inning.
Actually, for Trumbo, the strikeouts are down somewhat this year. 56 of them, but 257 at bats.
Strikeout rate, strikeout percentage is at 20.1, which is 5% less than last year. That one kicks away.
And last year he fanned 170 times. But they'll definitely trade that and take the 47 home runs.
Jennings and Beck in the Sox bullpen. Highest strikeout rate for Trumbo was back in 2013. He struck out 27% of the time. Another foul ball.
The Uri is just about as deep in center field as you can get. He's probably 10 steps from the warning track, so if it goes over his head, it's going out of the ballpark. And in a 1-1 game, you're playing almost a no double set each and every time someone comes up with some power.
Outside ball 4. Here's your sticks and stone answer. Let's see if you were right with Dave Stapleton. Correct.
How about that, you crafty little guy, you. You got to get up awfully early in the morning. And I understand you did. I think we both did, actually, after a long day at the ballpark yesterday. But a productive day.
12:02 was the final out this morning.
And things looked awfully good early, 5-1 after 2 innings, only to see Baltimore finally snap that long, seemingly for them, torturous streak of 11 straight road losses. They broke out of it in a big way as Kevin Smith goes to the mound. A little pep talk for Anthony.
If I said to you right now, you've got to prognosticate what the 5 teams will be in order at the end of the year in the American League East, because that is a very bunched up division, what would you say? What's your guess?
Well, like all good divisions, this is a good division. It's going to wind up being a general manager's division because whoever makes those definitive moves at the trade deadline is going to have a leg up. We'll take a look at the standings now. Boston overall, number 1, they have a closer in Kimbrel that nobody is hitting. So that's a big advantage. The Yankees with tremendous power, getting resurgent years out of Gardner and Ellsbury, and then Judge and Sanchez, 2 young hitters terrorizing American League pitchers. So they've got a pretty solid team. And you'd have to wonder, with Chapman gone for the year and Betances moving into that spot, if the Yankees will have some bullpen problems, because Betances became one of the most devastating setup men. Now he's forced to close, and that slots everybody up 1 notch out of that pen. So I would think overall, looking at the team, I think Dave Dombrowski showed you the trade for Chris Sale that he's going for it this year. To me, that's a team, I think, that's going to wind up on top of that division. So I would say, for me, Boston, New York, and I think Baltimore is going to come back and make it interesting. I view that they're going to be in 3rd, maybe battling Toronto. I can't see if Toronto gets their pitching back. I mean, Sanchez for them has to come back. If he comes back and they can get things together under John Gibbons, they will be a factor before it's over.
We'll see the Blue Jays starting tomorrow in Ontario. Two balls, 2 strikes on Mancini. Trumbo at first. On the ground, Anderson can't get there. Ball skidded into left field, so Trey Mancini with a hit. And the Orioles have something cooking here in the 6th. So Jonathan Scope is the opposition after this single from Mancini.
Mancini's got a very lively bat, and you hear a lot about exit velocity as it pertains to home runs or drives in the gap, but you don't hear a lot about it on ground balls. And if you have an extra 3, 4, 5 miles an hour on exit velocity, if it's not hit right at a defender, it's going through. And we've seen from Mancini, when he gets a bat on the ball, it seems to jump off the bat. And that time, Anderson, who's got good range, didn't have a chance for that. Is Trey Mancini putting together a very solid season series against our Sox.
His coach at South Bend, the head coach Aoki at Notre Dame, said, look, I made a mistake. I didn't start him his first game of his college career, but I rectified that pretty quickly, And I like to think I did it right after that, but he spoke glowingly in a story about Mancini and the type of kid he is, and boy, he is really hitting the ball well in his second season and his first full year in the majors.
He certainly has impressed us, and I'm pretty sure he's impressed every scout that's watched him all year long.
Ball one to Scope.
So we'll take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS, 99.6 exit velocity. And that, at that speed, shows you that defenders don't have much of a chance if it's not hit at them.
In the air to left field by Scope. Melky to the corner for out number 2.
That one taken back to the farthest part of the ballpark, and Melky able to make the play. Fortunately, this one died as it got to the track. The wind is blowing toward right and right center field. That probably kept that ball in the ballpark. Good concentration by Melky. Scope just missed it.
If that ball is hit last night,
yeah, that's over the bullpen.
2 down for Wellington Castillo. First pitch, Hunting. Anderson takes care of him. Inning over. 2 left on for the Orioles. Still tied at 1. Swarzak takes a deep breath. It is a lovely one here at Guaranteed Rate Field. We're tied at 1. Sox and Orioles.
Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS, and the 4th home run in as many games for Matt Davidson. 102.6 exit velocity, launch angle, 35.9 degrees. They talk about home runs, saying that if you can get in the neighborhood anywhere from like 98 to 102 exit velocity with a launch angle of 25 to 35 degrees, that ball's going out of the park.
Basically a guaranteed home run.
Yeah.
So Matt Davidson, as you saw, testing lofty territory, trying to tie tomorrow the Sox record for consecutive games with a home run. 5 is the limit for the franchise so far. Maybe an add-on job here. On the ground, Machado can't get there. Davidson guns it for second base. This is a leadoff double in the 6th.
Well, once again, I'm not sure who picked him as their pick to click, but I would think that double pretty much cements it. As he takes it down the line, past the diving Machado. this whole series, Manny, who is an exceptional defender, Gold Glove third baseman, has been just short a number of times, either going to his right or going to his left. Seemingly that ball gets by him by a couple of inches either way.
So now Sanchez, runner at second, nobody out.
And Yolmer's got to pull it unless he decides he wants to bunt it at Machado, but I think he's going to be swinging.
He is, and he fouls it away. This not being the later innings, the Sox will play for the rally instead of the one run here.
And with the outfield as deep as they are, even with the speed of Davidson's, which isn't great, the arms aren't really great arms anywhere in the outfield. So Matt, with Nick Capra going to make the call, the third base coach, he's going to pretty much try to score on just about anything.
Matt Davidson, who was injured running the bases last year on his very first hit as a White Sox player. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. We told you earlier, Tillman's gotten better as the games have worn on, when he's gotten deeper into the second and third time through the order as opposed to the first time. See if the Sox can open the faucet here in the 6th.
What's kept him in this ball game is the fact that he hasn't walked anybody. He's given up 9 hits in 5+ innings. Normally that's going to get you a lot more than just the 1 run, but without walking anybody, the solo home run is the sum total of the offense to this point.
Two one. Bunt, first base side, and foul. 2-2.
He was trying to drag the bunt up the right side. Now, if it hits grass in fair territory, it's probably going to get the job done, but the bunt you wanted was a push bunt right at Machado. What Yolmer was working on before the game, and this was yesterday's game, he was working on doing exactly what he did, but actually popping it over the second baseman's head. He did that a few times and did it successfully a couple times.
Off the plate, 3-2.
Orioles bullpen up and going. Sox bullpen up and cheering.
Three and 2. Ball 4. First walk for Tillman. 2 on, nobody out.
See if Roger McDowell comes out. He's a first-year pitching coach, longtime pitching coach, for first year with the Orioles. And there is Roger McDowell.
There might be a temptation. Sorry, Steve. There might be a temptation to bunt here if you're the Sox, but with the rally cooking, you would think you just go ahead and let Smith swing away, right?
I would personally let him swing away, but we'll see what Sox have in mind. If you missed it, Ricky Renteria was ejected on the same sequence that Avi Garcia was ejected. So long talk by Kevin Smith and Nick Capra, and Joe McEwing, the bench coach, is the man calling the shots.
Well, we've often said that Joe is manager material, the way he handles himself, the way he knows the game. And he gets some run here with Ricky Renteria, adding to our viewership in the clubhouse.
Kevin does not have a sacrifice successfully executed this year.
2 on, nobody out. He shows bunt and fouls it away. Willie Garcia is next. Sox only have 2 bench players left, with Leury Garcia having to come in with Avi Garcia's ejection. It's turned into a Blazing Saddles routine. One strike on Smith. Davidson at second, Sanchez at first.
Well, the conversation from Joseph probably was, I'm going to call a high fastball. Tough pitch to bunt. Easy to pop in the air.
He gets it down, third base side. Nobody's home. Bases loaded, nobody out.
3 for 3 for Kevin Smith. So it is not a successful sacrifice, but it's wildly successful. This ball is up, and Kevin does a nice job that time of absorbing the baseball because he deadens it, and Machado, for whatever reason, retreats to the bag. I think there was very much of a lack of communication. Tillman was charging toward the line, but he gave up on a ball that was hit that way, and if you're going hard toward the line, you're going to be able to make that play to someplace. But first career 3-hit game. It's been a memorable series for Kevin Smith.
First homer on Monday night, first 3-hit game today. Strike 1 to Garcia, and that's part of the reason to bunt that managers will argue is there's this chaos theory. It creates defensive gaps, and it did right there.
Well, that's been the one philosophy that Rick Renteria started in spring training when he said, we are going to pressure the opposing defenses. We're going to err on the side of aggressive baseball.
Two strikes on Garcia. Melky is next. Sox with a big chance to take the lead here in the 6th and then some.
Davidson has to be looking for a breaking ball in the dirt at 0-2. And Machado isn't all that close to him at third base, so he can get a good secondary lead.
3 straight swings.
Breaking ball in the dirt, but a good stop by Joseph. Caleb Joseph goes down, smothers it, and nowhere to go for Willie.
It's up to Melky, who is 1 for 3 with a base hit to center and 2 ground balls to second base.
With the bases loaded over the course of his career, Melky, .297 career hitter. He's very close to a .290 lifetime hitter in the major leagues.
Davidson's home. Sanchez follows. 3-1 Sox. 3 cheers for Melky.
Melky's driven in 35, and those were a big 2 runs. Takes it right back up the middle. That's a breaking ball down. That's going to be the last pitch that Tillman is going to throw. He loaded him up, and for the first time today, the Sox were able to take advantage of a scoring opportunity. And Melky, very happy, as you would expect. So Tillman departs this one, and as he does, so will we. We'll be back with a 2-run lead after these messages.
Receive a Merck's cheese spread game card. Good for savings on delicious Merck's cheese in the deli or dairy case at your local grocer. Watching the White Sox and saving on Merck's cheese. Some fans have all the luck. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Is there a Hyundai call to the pen as Tillman finally gives way in this one and brings in a hard-throwing young right-hander, Jimmy Yacobonis. Hasn't had many opportunities getting one here. He inherits a couple of base runners at first and second, only one out, and now a 2-run deficit.
There have been 27 major league seasons for players from St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. This one from Yacobonis, Alan Travers in 1912, and the other 25 from Jamie Moyer.
Jamie seemingly pitched forever. What, 23 years?
25.
25 years? Wow. Came up with the Cubs originally and then played with a lot of other teams. Because he had a straight change, he could throw for strikes whenever he wanted to.
1986, June 16th, 1986 was his debut. He ended his career in 2012 as Tim Anderson watches ball number 3.
And one of my off-season avocations is a matchmaker. I actually fixed Jamie Moyer up with his wife. And you might remember Digger Phelps was Digger's daughter that Jamie married and still married to this day.
How about that? There's ball 4. Anderson. It's like he wasn't even up there.
Well, it brings up the man you'd want in this situation because Jose has been stinging the baseball and he's got the bases loaded and only one out.
Melky had the 2-run single with the bases loaded. Abreu has been fantastic in this situation for his career.
A couple of grand slams and 355 to show for it in this just his 4th year in the major leagues.
He grooves him a strike. Look out. 4 straight out of the zone to Anderson, and he almost hit Abreu.
One of the things I can't understand is more teams should be working on the way to get an out without throwing a pitch. And to do that, the best way is to have Mancini at first base go behind Anderson and a quick throw from Joseph.
That one hits Abreu. Oh, he's going to call it a foul ball. Emil says foul ball. I should say DeJesus, the plate umpire, 1-1, as that ball is foul.
No, it didn't get him.
Sounded like body.
It's very similar, although it was a left-hand hitter, very similar to the pitch that Joseph got hurt on. The ball fouled off that was up and in, hit the dirt, and then came and got him.
1-1. Oh, that one gets away all the way to the backstop, but a positive carom for the Orioles as Joseph nearly winged it into left field.
Well, out of all the places where the ball could have gone for the Orioles, it's the best scenario. It just shoots right back to Joseph. It's a good thing that Kevin Smith, who, by the way, has probably seen a few of those here at this ballpark, decided not to get too adventuresome and come down the line any longer than he did. As Joseph did go to Machado, but he was not covering the bag.
Yacobonis, who had never pitched above Double-A before this season, in a huge spot in this game. And he gets a swing and a miss on a tight slider, 2-2.
Like Jose made up his mind to swing at anything that time because that ball started well outside and continued to go further. That's Yacobonis' best pitch, that hard slider. And we've seen him once in this series. Looked like he threw it pretty well. That was in the Asher game.
Two and two. Another slider and another stop by Joseph. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now, how much confidence does he have in the slider on 3 and 2 with the bases loaded?
You can throw it 1 and 2 and 2 and 2. Certainly throw it 3 and 2. Leary in the on-deck circle. He came in the game after the ejection of Avisail Garcia.
Three and 2. Yacobonis to Abreu. Way upstairs. 4-1.
RBI number 37. And Kevin Smith touches the plate. So his 3 hits finally have turned into a run. And it's a 3-run game. Very happy Sox players and guards and everybody else congratulating Kevin Smith. Joseph out there to talk with his young right-hander who missed by a wide margin on 3 of those balls.
Back-to-back walks. 4 straight to the walk of Anderson. This a 3-2 that was wayward, and now Leury Garcia, who gets his first playing time of the homestand with that sore left hand. Before the injury, he was 15 for his last 39, was swinging the bat very well. Fouled off.
Leury pretty consistent from both sides. 314 right-handed, 295 left-handed. All of his power, however, comes from the left side. He's hit 6, all 6 as a left-hand hitter. 18 of his 21 driven in from the side he currently occupies.
Garcia, right center field. Jones reaches out to make the play. Melky tags from third. He scores. Anderson is into third, and the Sox add on 1 more.
That one well hit, but not enough carry. However, Leury does hit his second sacrifice fly to go with 3 sacrifice bunts. So he gets the job done. There's a big run waiting out there, and Adam Jones makes what for him is a routine catch. And Leury drives home another all-important run with a little more insurance. Now a 4-run game.
And the Sox have batter number 9 up in this 6th inning, Todd Frazier. Well, if Todd gets into a fastball count against Yacobonis, if he misses a couple times, it'd be a pretty good matchup.
He just got to lay off the sliders. So Joseph out to talk with his right-hander. Many times they do this just to give that bullpen a chance to get a few more warm-up pitches. And there is the pen. Miguel Castro, who we've seen in this series.
So all these runs, by the way, are charged to Tillman. Two runners on right now are property of Yacobonis. Strike 1 to Frazier.
And Chris Beck starts to throw.
So for Tillman, 5 1/3, 11 hits. He walked 1, struck out 6, but 5 earned runs against him. And Frazier trying to blow this one up.
That was a pretty good pitch. He didn't get the call. Because we're not going to see the Orioles anymore this year during the regular season. Just one observation about Yacobonis. You've seen the delivery, and you've seen him missing way wide to the right-handers. If he's going to continue doing that, he's got to move from the extreme first base side of the rubber either to the middle or the extreme third base side to get a little better angle, because where he is now, there is no angle. Slider's good enough, but the release point is not near where it has to be. And you see where he sets up, it's the extreme first base side. And he's not able to consistently repeat that release point.
What changes if he moves over?
He's got a lot more room, a lot more angle than he has right now, because right now when he throws it, he's pretty much looking at that outside corner. When he throws it, it's breaking pretty sharply. It's got no chance to get the plate.
2-2. Up high, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So even the illusion that he would be throwing it for a strike is gone, is what you're saying.
It's just unless this is a rare release point, but we saw the same thing last time where he just drags the ball across, and again, if the hitter doesn't swing, more times than not, it's well out of the zone.
3-2. Yeah, this will find its way out of play.
So Jose was going on the pitch. And at 3-2 with a couple of outs, you get a big break off first base with Mancini not paying any attention to him at all.
Well, Todd is 0 for 3 today. However, he has seen 19 pitches in 4 trips to the plate. This will be his 20th. Some long at bats early in the game after 2 strikeouts. Then he swung at the first pitch last time. 3-2 here. Upstairs, ball 4. 3rd walk from Yacobonis. And Davidson, who led it off, will bat next. How about another grand slam?
Well, if you're Matt Davidson, you got a pitcher struggling with his command and not really even close. So you're thinking fastball. You're thinking one pitch fastball. For Matt, it would be middle in. Anything else, you don't want to swing at it.
Slider, ball 1.
Yeah, that release point is almost non-existent for him, and so here comes Buck Showalter. Could very well be that is going to be it, as Yacobonis is going to have to go back, take a look at this video, and retool to be able to throw that slider consistently for strikes. Buck Showalter asking for the baseball. He will depart. And as Castro comes in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
17 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Your breakout MLB season is here. You better come ready to play. It's more of a threat than a promo. I like it.
Yes. Winning through intimidation. And their Hyundai call to the pen. Speaking of that. Were you speaking of that? Anyway, Castro has pitched in the series. He threw an inning. A couple of hits and a run. There you look at the numbers. On for the 4th time. And he's got some problems. You got no place to put Matt Davidson, who already has a 1-0 count.
You see that in college much more than you do in Major League Baseball, is give me the ball after 1 or 2 pitches. 3 walks, though, and that'll be all for Yacobonis. Castro gets a swinging strike. Pretty good series, huh?
I would say it's an exceptional series.
Hashtag scrap the beard.
Probably is a good plan. If Castro continues throwing that slider, it'll be a tough at bat for Matt.
Anderson, Abreu, Frazier. Two balls, 2 strikes. 10th batter of the inning. 3 hits in the inning. All 4 Sox walks in the game this inning. Oh, a slider, and Matt couldn't pull the trigger. That'll do it. But Kevin Smith started all the action with this. Couple runners on, trying to sacrifice himself, and nobody there. Then Mackey gave the Sox the lead. Added on a couple more, 5-1.
CSN for the series finale versus Louisville. Carson Fulmer gets a start and goes for his 7th win of the season. Coverage beginning tonight at 6 on CSN. And Chris Beck comes in the ball game. He's got a 4-run lead to protect. And he's on for the 21st time. ERA at 3.33. Left-handers and right-handers surprisingly have hit 212, which pencils out for the opposition hitting 212.
Well, you mentioned the Charlotte Knights game coming up later on in just a couple of hours. One of the highlights from Winston-Salem in the advanced A team is Zach Collins, the first-round pick from last year, has reached in 14 of his last 15 games 12 walks. in those last 15 games. He is the Carolina League leader with 50 walks. He also has 10 home runs, 5th in the league.
Well, he's come as advertised as a guy with a great command of the strike zone. And so that's certainly going to help him, especially when you got that kind of power and a really good eye. That's one of the reasons why he was so enticing for the Sox, knowing that they needed some catching. He's improved in that department. And he gives them the left-handed power bat that they could certainly use whenever he gets up here.
Collins out of the University of Miami, which had quite the streak, ended this year. 44 straight seasons to the NCAA postseason. They did not go for the first time this year in 4.5 decades.
That's pretty amazing, that kind of run.
1-1. There's a strike from Beck. So Swarzak 1 2/3, 2 hits, a walk and a strikeout, and Jennings and Canely warming up. Dan Jennings has been loosening for a while now.
He should be very loose. Was it 87 degrees with pretty nice humidity? It's an easy day to get loose.
How many fewer pitches do you have to throw in the bullpen on a hot day as compared to a cool day?
It really depends on just how you're feeling. If your arm is a little ouchy or you haven't thrown in a while, sometimes you take more pitches. But if you're throwing on a regular basis, and they've all played catch before the game and done a lot of different things in loosening up, it's not going to take you too many pitches. 15 to 20 pitches and you should be ready to go, sometimes even less than that.
So say you get loose, you're ready to go, you choose not to use you. You're down for a little while. You're not going to continuously throw for an inning full if you're ready, right?
Well, what happens to veteran relievers, guys who have been out there, and guys who come in on the winning side of the game ledger, you're going to get close to ready. And then waiting and see what happens, you're going to really back off and just toss a few and maybe spin a few and do a whole lot of things until you get the feeling that it's time for you to come in the game.
Long fly ball left center field. Melky's over, Garcia over, and Leury flags it down on the warning track for out number 1.
Well, Melky was looking over at Leury, knowing that he was still a bit away from that one. And Melky, as has been his custom, rooting mightily for Leury to take that one away, which he did. Tejada hits it well, but 10 feet to spare as he just was stepping on the warning track.
One out for Caleb Joseph. Strike 1 at 96 miles an hour from Chris Beck. Sox will be on the road for 6. 3 in Toronto Friday, Saturday, Sunday, an off day Monday, then 3 in Minneapolis. There's strike 2 from Beck.
Young right-hander Barrios for the Twins, now 6-1 with an ERA 2.74. So last year he came up, did not do very well, but showed a great arm, and this year still a very young pitcher, getting it done.
The Twins scored 5 runs in the first inning today en route to a 6-2 win over Seattle. Chris Jimenez 2 home runs. He has 3 for the year now. Clubbed foul by Joseph, who got the Orioles to a tie in the 5th inning with an RBI double off of Anthony Swarzak. Well, you can watch it. The Sox are leading now. Don't worry. Tie didn't last for long.
Might have had a little too much sun.
After all the rain yesterday, there is no such thing as too much sun.
No, and all the clouds that were present at the start of the ball game have gone away. It's a beautiful afternoon.
Swing and a miss for strike 3 and 2 down. Bring your little all-star closer to the game. Fans 13 and under can join the White Sox Kids Club and get free Sox tickets, new gear, access to exclusive events, and even skip the line during Kids Run the Bases Family Sundays. Head to whitesox.com/kidsclub today to join. I was reading earlier that today is the anniversary in 1976 of the first ever rainout at the Astrodome.
I was involved in one that came very close to being rained out.
At the Astrodome?
Yeah, they in fact they wound up having to push the game back an hour and a half because they were carrying 13 pitchers. At the scheduled game time, 2 had made it to the ballpark.
Because of
not
flooding?
not including the starting pitcher. He didn't make it. At that point, they moved the game back and eventually played it.
That ball's drilled down the left field line and arching wide. That's exactly what happened in this Astros-Pirates game from back in '76. There was massive flooding. The umpire's car stalled on the way to the Astrodome, so they had to walk back to the hotel wading through all the water, and there was no game, but the players got together and in 8th grade soccer fashion all had dinner on the field together.
That's kind of nice.
That's nice. Yeah. Popped up first base side and out of play. The postscript to that was there was a little bit of a mess in Houston because the Astrodome having a roof, being a dome, you know. There was no rain check policy for the tickets.
So what they decide?
I think the end result was that they let the fans come to another game. But I mean, why would you have a rain check policy when there's a roof?
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Two strikes on Joey Rickard. Half swing foul ball. He swings completely, fouls it away. He swings halfway and he fouls it away. Beck searching for a 1-2-3 7th inning. And he will not have it. It's a hit by pitch on 2 strikes to Rickard, bringing up Jones.
Richie Bancels, long time trainer of these Orioles, been there 36 years. He was there when I was there. He comes out to have a word with his left fielder as Rickard catches this one off the elbow. Doesn't appear to be padded up, so that one is going to be talking to him for a while.
Time to take a look at our upcoming schedule while we have a moment. The Orioles will be gone as of tonight. Sox will be at the Blue Jays tomorrow, 6:07 first pitch on CSN. Then Saturday high noon, Sunday over on WGN.
Sunday's Father's Day, so make sure that you get your dad a very nice present. Take him to a nice place to eat, or maybe even find some way to have a home-cooked meal. So Chris Beck is going to leave. Joe McEwing going out there doing the honors. And Tommy Kahnle will come in the ball game. And as he does, we'll step out. And we'll both be back.
Mark Buehrle's retirement ceremony. One lucky winner will be chosen to meet Mark and sit on the field to witness number 56 be retired. Not only can you win this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but you can also earn items personally autographed by Mark Buehrle. Visit whitesox.com/56 for charity to enter. And this is important. Contest ends tomorrow at 5 p.m. So join today.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Tommy Kahnle, who inherits a base runner at first base. He's on for the 27th time. 142 ERA, 44 huge strikeouts in 25 and a third with just 6 walks. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Right-handers might as well not bring a bat up. They're only hitting 100 against him. And Adam Jones swinging it very well in this ball game this afternoon.
You'd imagine that's part of the reason that Kahnle is in now. The foul ball just below our position.
Sure, I mean, you're looking at a 5-1 ball game. So this is far from a lockdown ending. That's one of the reasons why Tommy Kahnle thrown it as well as he has, and factor in the 0 for 3 lifetime against him. It was the move to make.
0-1. In the air, right side and down. Rickard to third.
Jones off the end of the bat with his second hit of the afternoon. This ball is way off the plate, and Adam Jones, who is one of those guys that try as he might, he will never look for a walk. He's a guy who likes to swing the bat, and year after year, very few walks. He's got 12 this year, 246 at bats.
He's on at first. Rickard at third. Manny Machado the batter. Tommy Kahnle, who comes into the day third in walks and hits per inning pitched at .79 for AL relievers. He is third. Fourth in strikeouts per 9 at 15 plus. There's a swing and a miss, 1-1. 2 on, 2 out. Machado versus Canely. Center field. Garcia for out number 3. Tommy Canely does it again. Stretch time. Still 5-1.
Fan cam, bring the fun home. There is a real fan cam.
Here, put these on. Sights and sounds of Guaranteed Rate Field this lovely afternoon. 5-1, the Sox with the lead over the Orioles. It's the new dance craze. What do you call that, Steve? I know you were working on it before the game.
That's the We're right at the 3-hour mark. When's this game end? Dance.
Catchy.
This has been a series that was not rushed into.
Sanchez, center field. Jones. 1 down. Let's take a look around Major League Baseball. And Derek Fisher, with the injury to Josh Reddick, called up from Fresno, and in his first game deposits a home run. His father, Jim, was in attendance, and he said that's gone. And he was right. How about that?
Oh, good. That's what the Astros need. Just one more guy who can really hit it.
So here's the amazing thing for what's happened to the American League West the last couple of years with the Rangers and the Astros and the difficulty in that series being so one-sided. The Rangers actually originally drafted Fisher in the 6th round in 2011, and he decided to go to Virginia. Comes back out. The Astros drafted 37th overall, and now he's their property.
He had a lot of talent in that organization, and with the injuries they've absorbed to their starting rotation, and they're starting to really pile up, the Astros most likely are looking for a starting pitcher. They're not the Lone Rangers in that pursuit. There's a few teams that are getting in line to try to shore up their team for a postseason run.
And that's why, as you heard in the pregame show, Rick Hahn is talking about how Jose Quintana's value is going to be what the Sox have placed it as, and a tough start isn't going to hurt really the market for him. The Sox are going to ask what they're going to ask because somebody's going to want a very viable starting pitcher.
And look, at his age, which is 28 years old, he's got some wonderful years left and a great team contract.
Castro off the mound and a rapid fire don't blink 7th inning. To the 8th we go. 5-1 Sox looking to win the series.
Loan now at eclicklending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened. Boom! Got another one. Way to go, guys.
There's a level of control you have there that I'm not comfortable with. 5-1 Sox with the lead, trying to stave off any Baltimore rally. And that's an interesting rally, Cap. Well, there's a shade factor. There's a high shade factor.
There's a little protection involved. That's the kind of skin that you start to melt almost immediately.
Being someone who is translucent and uses SPF 400.
That's your
Those are my people.
Sunscreen of choice.
Strike one to Trumbo. Sox will be done with the Orioles for the regular season after this game on June the 15th.
Done with them, and still a lot of teams from the other two divisions that we have not seen yet.
Oakland being one of them. Texas as well.
Seeing Toronto for the first time. That starts tomorrow night.
Yeah, Houston too is on that list, and
yeah, that's a team that, under the best of circumstances, it's not fun to face, especially if they get their pitching back together again. Dallas Keuchel on the disabled list for the second time this year, still sporting a 9-0 record. That's McCullers Jr., I believe, was just disabled also, so they've had their problems.
Read a really interesting interview with A.J. Hinch a couple of days ago where he mentioned that this time around, and he's talked to us about the baseball side of it and how to handle players, but he said this time around as a manager, he's really just trying to be himself, and he's okay being a little bit quirky. There was one example where he helped a cameraman white balance a camera. He saw the guy kind of struggling in an interview with A.J. Hinch, and he just picked up a piece of paper and held it in front of the camera because he noticed that sort of thing. So a little bit more comfortable in his own skin the second time around.
One of the things he mentioned, because he didn't have managerial experience, despite having front office experience with the Diamondbacks, when he came down to manage for the first time, he was 34 years old. Had a few players on his team older than he was, which is never a comfortable situation. But he said what he didn't know could fill volumes. Only he didn't know what he didn't know because he had never been there before. So it's mostly not when do you bunt, when do you hit and run, all of those things, when do you take a pitcher out. It's pretty much communication, how you get the most out of 25 diverse personalities, because there's some guys you can push, there's other guys that you have to cajole. There's a different way to turn the switch on with each and every player, and the managers who've been around have a good feeling and know how to do it, and those other guys have to live and learn through it. And that's what A.J. Hinch has done in this second go-around. He said he's much more comfortable, he understands a little bit what's going on, and it doesn't hurt that he's got a wonderfully talented baseball team.
There's a guy who has seen a lot as a manager.
He's gotten a lot better as a manager as things moved along, and that was communication also, because Buck, for a while, every team he left won it all. And he's in a situation with the Orioles where he's had some very good teams. 14 straight years, I believe, under 500 till Buck got things together here, and he's managed some pretty good teams. They've had some very good years under Showalter. They just have yet to win the big prize.
Yeah, 98 to 2011, no trips to the playoffs for Baltimore. Had the wild card game last year. The question of when do you use Zach Britton?
Usually a difficult decision, but what you try to avoid doing, and again, I mean, Buck didn't have plans to do this. You try to avoid going down and eliminated from the postseason without using your #1 weapon. And last year, Britton was 47 for 47. There you look at the 8th year as the Orioles manager. .530 baseball. .520 overall in his many years of managing.
Some time as a media member in between. Not used to the bright lights of the studio.
Buck's a smart guy and a good baseball man.
Tommy Kahnle strikes out Mancini. 2 down in the 8th.
That's a changeup, and when you can throw anywhere from 97 to 100 and you can get that straight change in the neighborhood, he doesn't tip it off at all. He's got the same release point with the fastball as he does with the change. He's got the same arm angle and the same arm velocity, which is the most important thing. You get guys swinging at the motion and not the ball. Then he throws you one of those and it doesn't hardly seem fair.
Well, whether it's the new radar gun readings or whatever it might be, Tommy Kahnle's average changeup is up about 1.5 miles from last year and 2.5 miles an hour from where he was with Colorado.
It's also much more consistent because he's throwing just about each and every one of them for strikes, and it starts with establishing command of your fastball. And this year, starting in spring training, he's had command of everything.
The Tommy Kahnle revolution continues with a 1-2-3 8th inning. 5-1 Sox. On your score, the Sox with the lead, trying to close it out. Maybe an add-on run or two with the top of the order coming up against the right-hander Castro, who came in a couple of innings ago.
Melky had a big base hit in the 6th inning. Looks like David Robertson throwing in the Sox pen.
David has not thrown in this series.
Yeah, they probably love to get him an inning of work.
Last we saw him, it was Saturday in Cleveland. In a game, that is. He's been around.
I have seen him. I can recognize him, yes. And you figure those games in Toronto should be good ones, and David will probably play a prominent role, so you want to make sure he has his control.
Scope protects himself for out number 1. You mentioned the Blue Jays. Time to do our advanced scouting of that next series. And Toronto with 90 home runs on the year. And John Gibbons says, we love home runs. I don't know if you can do that forever, but right now it's working. Like us or not, we're an entertaining club because we do those kinds of things and we've got some personalities. Tough to sustain that, he says. Got to start scoring runs the other way, too.
Well, he certainly is right about that. And Baltimore has a similar situation because they have a lot of power on this team, especially when Chris Davis is healthy. Davis went on the disabled list in this series. But Baltimore are very one-dimensional as far as hitting the ball out of the ballpark. When they do, they're really tough. When they don't, not so tough. And apparently John Gibbons feels the same way about his Blue Jays.
There you see they are 5th in the American League in home runs, behind a couple of very strong teams. 18 for Justin Smoke to lead the Blue Jays.
It helps make up for the departure of Edwin Encarnacion, who's not exactly tearing it up, but started to look a whole lot better during that Cleveland series. He will hit, but that's a big bat subtracted from the Blue Jays. Donaldson has come back, and he's hitting over 300.
That'll be a 6 o'clock start time tomorrow, right here on CSN. Well hit, fair ball. Anderson races for second base. He's got a 1-out double.
He rifles this ball down the line, and Manny Machado has 0 chance. That ball is a one-hop rocket. The Sox look for a little added insurance heading into the 9th inning.
And this is going to be an intentional walk for Abreu. Still no universal signal in Major League Baseball, though there's some fun to be had, certainly.
I think it's a pretty good idea. If you want to put him on first base, just go.
You like it?
I do.
Well, that's because for pitchers, nothing good can come of it.
0. And guys don't work on throwing for the intentional walk, so you have a lot of pitches that go astray. Plus, if you're looking to speed it up, that'll speed it up. Infinitesimally, but it'll speed it up.
You go redeem those 20 seconds later for something.
Well, but think about a game where you might have 15 intentional walks. Look how much time you save.
What sport is that?
I can't remember, but I'm sure it's somewhere.
0-1. Might want to lay off the unintentional walks if you're going with the 15 intentional walk strategy.
Here he has one at bat, and he hit a long blast to center field. Unfortunately, it did stay in the park, but it was a sacrifice fly. So he drove home a run.
Sox trying to put away the Orioles for a 3-1 series win. Sox won the first two, lost yesterday as the O's came back. 2-1. Pitching matchup, by the way, for tomorrow will be Jose Quintana versus Joe Biagini. Then Pelfrey and Stroman scheduled for Saturday. Shields and Happ on Sunday. A couple of guys who've been hurt this year.
I was going to say, Toronto just got Happ back, which for them is wonderful. He had a great year last year.
2 down, and Frazier will bat.
Marcus Stroman having the kind of year that everybody expected from him. He's 7-2 this year, so Marcus throws very well. Had a knee problem last year that pretty much took apart his season, but he's back, he's healthy, and he's thrown it well.
Saw Mike Pelfrey, who's Stroman's opponent on Saturday, saw Mike throw yesterday on his side day out of the bullpen to save the Sox an arm.
He actually threw it pretty well. Worked quickly and threw a perfect ninth.
There's a strike. 1-2 on Todd, who's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Close pitch, didn't get it. 2-2. That will do it on the ground ball to Scope eventually. 2 stranded for the Sox in the 8th. 3 outs to get 5-1.
to nail it down. But first, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And it's quite a day by Kevin Smith. He had 3 base hits. This one back up the middle. Kevin Smith has had a great series. And this is a bunt that nobody decided to field. And it loaded him up at the time in a very productive 6th inning, one that scored 4 runs and essentially put the game where it stands at this point as David comes on for the 22nd time. His ERA a touch over 3. 10 for 11 in save situations, of which this is not one.
Bottom of the order for Baltimore, Wellington Castillo for strike 1. Without Castillo last night, who knows where the Orioles end up in this series. His grand slam gave Baltimore the lead at 8-5 with 2 out in the 5th inning. The Orioles had nobody on. The Trumbo singled, Mancini singled, Scope walked, and Castillo's grand slam gave the O's the lead for good. A little bit further inside than strike 1 there. First outing in 5 days. What's the toughest part for a pitcher out of the bullpen?
Well, he's got a couple of different things. Number 1, no adrenaline because it's a non-save situation. And number 2, control, because you're overly strong. When you're overly strong, especially the curveball, a lot of times you just don't have good command of it. But David's curveball has been so good all year long, you would expect that he's had some work in the meantime, because you got to keep your arm strong and ready to go when needed. He just has not been needed a great deal. Just 11 save opportunities all year.
A little bit low. High in the air, deep center field, and Baltimore is going to be back on the board. Castillo goes deep.
That's the 6th home run. He's driven in 23 of them. It's been a very good series for the former Cub catcher, Wellington Castillo. This makes it a 3-run game, but you can't pitch yourself into a save situation, so this is a non-save situation. Ford home run replay, and he got most of this one.
And that was on a fastball. You mentioned the curveball for Robertson. When he's gotten ahead and used that, opponents are 4 for 39 against his curveball this year. That's a 103 average.
It's been absolutely wonderful all season long.
You know, pitchers can pitch themselves into win situations. Come in, you give up a run.
Yes.
Lead goes away. Team comes back and scores 2 runs, you get the win. Why then can't you pitch yourself into a save situation?
Well, it's one of those mysteries of the game, but I assume that if you could, there'd be a lot of pitchers that would be doing that with the assorted, well-timed walk. They don't want to see a guy come up with 75 saves in a season because he has walked himself into save situations. I think that's probably why they do that.
We're okay with vulturing wins, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Tip
that
foul.
One came up and got Tejada. Bounces straight down and right back up. An ear burger for his efforts.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Ruben Tejada. In the dirt, 3-2.
David is struggling with just what we talked about. Non-safe situation. Hasn't been out there for a bit, so control is not quite as sharp as it usually is when he's getting consistent work. And I talked with him about it. He said ideally 3 or 4 times a week, depending on how many pitches he throws in each and every one of those outings.
Well, the Sox bullpen does have a return arm today. Michael Inoa activated, and Juan Minaya sent down to Charlotte after the game yesterday. And there is Inoa. Three and 2. On the ground, Frazier at third with the pick and the sling for out number 1. That alleviates a little bit of the tension.
And that and the fact that Chris Davis is disabled, they don't have that bad coming off the bench. They don't have a whole lot of balance left. Kim, a left-hander. He has a chance to be used if they get to that situation.
Got Rickard on deck. That might be a spot where you'd think about it.
Well, right now the visibility is good, and hopefully this game will be over before it gets bad.
That's a strike, 1-1. Yay.
He's looking for just 2 more outs. Time for a bottle.
There's a strike. Especially low in the zone, the numbers on David Robertson's curveball are exceptional this year, and now ahead 1-2, we might see him deploy it.
Well, that's because his best curveball, like so many pitchers before him, is a wipeout curveball that's out of the strike zone.
Joseph got some bat on that one, fouled it away, still 1-2.
Nice bounce back homestand after a very difficult 2-7 road trip. It's an abbreviated homestand and back on the road once again.
Then a long homestand, 10 games from the end of June into the first couple days of July.
Longest of the season to this point. And a few of those in line for the second half of the year.
Fastball hit in the air, right field side. Garcia is over, and that fan, hopefully the fan's okay. Willie is.
Willie comes over, but there's no chance to get that one, and gives the fan a nice little shot.
Willie Garcia may have a future as a lead blocker.
He was clearing the path, definitely.
2-2. Count runs full against Joseph. Rickard is on deck. We'll see if he remains if Joseph were to reach. 3-2. On the ground, up the middle. 1 out single for Joseph. So it will be Rickard with 3 left-handers on the bench. Smith, Washington, and Kim, who you talked about as the likeliest of options.
Well, Smith is a pretty good hitter also. He's a guy who gets a whole lot of starts when they're facing right-handed starters. And he's 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year. Kim is 2 for 11.
Ball and no strikes on Rickard. Snaps in a strike, 1-1.
Best pinch hitter for the Orioles is playing. He's been the best a lot of things for the Orioles. Trey Mancini, 3 for 6 with a home run and 2 driven in as a pinch hitter.
Bunt fouled away by Rickard, who saw an opening. 1-2, and now the bullpen starts to loosen again.
It's Jake Petrichka, who had a tough outing his first outing and last time out. The sinker was sinking, the slider was sliding, and everything was going pretty well for him.
One and two. A lot of pitches with David Robertson nearing 30 in the inning. Every batter has gone at least to 2-2. The last 2 hitters have gone to 3-2. Check swing, and he went around. Strike 3.
With a tremendous grasp of the obvious, that's a big out. Cannot check it up. Rickard goes down on strikes.
Number 27's a big one too.
And Adam Jones has had a pretty good day. A couple of hits and a vicious line drive in the 5th inning to end the inning. Fortunately, it was hit at the time right at Avi.
Joseph takes second base on indifference. And strike 1 to Jones. Kevin Smith wants to have a little discussion with Robertson.
Tell him what set of signs he wants to use.
One strike on Adam Jones, who's got 7 hits in the series. Down the line and oh, what a grab!
What a play! Sinking line drive, and the young man made a big effort.
Tip your cap. Got to do it there. What a play!
It stayed in the glove. There'll be no replay of that.
0-2. The throw, and this game and the series are both done with. 5-2, the Sox over the Orioles.
Pretty good work on the bullpen once again. David Robertson needed 1 inning of work, and he got it. It wasn't artistic, but it was effective. And the boys take 3 of 4 from the Orioles. So it's on to Toronto and then Minnesota, and I will see you on the plane.
Sounds good to me. Sox get the win. Anthony Swarzak out of the bullpen. Backed up Holmberg, then Beck and Canely and Robertson. And the final score goes 5-2. So you said it, Steve. 2-7 on the road trip. Sox end up winning 3 of 4 on this homestand, and that kind of balances the team out and stabilizes things.
Well, they did a lot of things right in this series. They got very good pitching. They got some timely hitting and a whole lot of hitting, actually. It was nice to see the bats come alive. Has a lot to do with the weather, of course, because as it's gotten hotter, it's an easier place to hit here in Chicago, and they took advantage of that. Plus the bullpen, which has been spectacular all year, once again very good. So This Oriole team is not playing well, but you don't get to choose when you're going to play them. When you do play them, if they're not playing well, you have to take advantage of it, and 3 out of 4 is pretty good.
Matt Davidson with a home run in 4 consecutive games. He is 1 shy of the Sox team record that's held by a couple of different players, and we'll show you that whole list tomorrow during the game. But boy, Matt Davidson is showing something to a manager in Ricky Renteria and a team that didn't even have him in the starting lineup on day 1.
No, and for a guy who was supposed to play just against the left-handers, he's gotten some play against the right-handers, and he's hitting the ball out of the park against right-handers. So that bodes well for the future, showing Ricky Renteria and everybody else on his staff that he can indeed hit right-handers, and that's the oddity of coming up as a right-hand hitter, because you get to the major leagues because you've hit right-handers wherever you've gone. Yet you come up here and all of a sudden they're platooning you. Well, most right-hand hitters, most of them, like to hit right-hand pitchers because they see many more of them. In the case of our Sox, they have tormented left-handers this year because of a very strong right-hand hitting lineup. But Matt Davidson's hitting everybody, and it's nice to see.
Let's throw it downstairs to Sierra Santos.
Hey guys, Kevin, the first 3-hit day of your career, you came dangerously close in Seattle. I don't know if you remember, but you kind of got robbed a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you feel like maybe karma owed you this one?
Yeah, I think I've hit a lot of balls on the screws here this season so far, so I was owed that bunt maybe a little bit. But the one in Seattle, I thought it was a knock. I started around in the base, and Motter picked it up, and I tried. Threw me out, unfortunately. But today, it was just another one of those days. Had an important role right there to get that bunt down and get our guys over, and fortunately it worked out in my favor.
Overall, a really good series for you and the team in general. You get your first career home run. You have Alan Hansen, he gets his first career home run. You've got Matt Davidson, his grand slam. What is clicking for the offense